I'm Muka, currently 21, rookie self-taught animator and art style imitator. Welcome to the video. I won't keep you long, so I just get to the gist of it. My making of stuff is basically gonna be me showing up the background works of some stuff and keep progress of what I learned. And boy do I have stuff to tell. First with what I learned from the siblings. This is gonna be like the 7th time, so long story short, TS is a fanfic I use as a playground to learn stuff. From the moment I started in 2019 to the moment I finally finished that first chapter in mid-2024, I learned basic animation and started getting the hang of imitating art styles. Now, I spent the last year working on a Toy Story 3 game video. What did I learn this time? Can you believe I never tried Lipsync before? Now, I am a Krita artist, and while I think it's a great software, it's perfect for what I do, it kinda sucks when it comes to audio. You can import and listen to it, but you can't do much else. You especially cannot see where in the audio you are. Well, searching a bit, I found a cool tutorial by this lovely chap here, and did something similar using my own tools. So here's a quick tutorial on how to put audio for lip syncing on Krita, or at least the way I do it. Step 1, pick the audio of your choice. Step 2, put it into an editing software, in my case Filmora, and set the frame rate to 24. I don't know how it works in other programs, so get bent. 1 millisecond equals 1 frame, and 1 second equals 24. Step 3, take a print of the timeline. You might want to print the timestamp bit too. Step 4, paste the print into Krita and in another layer draw a simple bar. I myself like making it 4 pixels wide. This is your frame marker, he's a good buddy. Move that lad to the beginning of the audio timeline. Step 5. In Krita, you might already have the layers and tools, but you also need to turn the animation timeline and animation curve dockers. Step 6. Now in the bar layer, right-click, add transformation mask. Step 7. On the transformed layer, not the actual layer, the transformed layer, go to the animation curves docker and click add keyframe. Now look at how long your audio is. From now on, you need a calculator. If you did it the way I did so far, then make it 24 times the seconds plus milliseconds. In my case, it's... That number is the last frame for your audio. Now go for the animation timeline and go to that frame. Now go back to the curves docker and add another keyframe. It's still on the last frame, move that bar to the end of the timeline. Now you got a working audio visualizer, good for you. Have an ice and cookie. I made a petty sound as if you could see it. If it's working properly, it should slide from beginning to end with no problem. Now you're going to mark the words. You'll be flipping between your editing software, Krita, and your calculator for this one. Look how many frames a certain word takes, where it begins and where it ends, and note them in Krita. Here's a tip, note the words 1 or 2 frames before the word is actually said. I had that one from Tonico Pantoja. I don't remember which video, so go watch him to find out. His content be jolly good. And now you're ready for lip syncing. The actual lip syncing is your problem. Here's what mine looks like.
But I can at least respect.
Oh, did I just see some tarts?
Oh, God. Look, everyone, it's Diego, the advertising Mexican dustman.
Put the lady back on the telly.
Are you sure you're Mexican?
Oh, how dare you! I'll hit you with my dick.
Can you please stop before you upset another 7 countries?
PSP. I killed a man.
Of course, it wasn't perfect in that video. It was a bit off sync a couple of times, but I think I did a good job for a first try. At first I was doing a mouth guide because I wasn't too confident, but a couple of scenes in and I'm doing it straight away. Yeah, it's not that hard actually. But something I noticed when I tried animating the Buzz Lightyear segment. I can animate it smoothly, but that's not 100% good. It can be a bit of a handicap actually, because I had a bit of a tough time with lesser frame rates. Which is interesting because I used to animate at 15 FPS. Not me complaining about it though, just noticing what's there to improve, and I'll do my best to make it better next time. Schneider did compare the smoother lip sync to Akira. A bit of a stretch, but I'll take it, thank you. And this also means that with a bit more practice, I could make it to the industry and call Butch Hartman the hack that he is. Hey, post-production here. That little animation you just saw is actually the first time I actually lip-synced English. And there's a neat little thing I noticed. It's a little bit hard in Portuguese. How can I explain this without sounding kinky? Basically, Portuguese has a consistent streak of vowels followed by consonants, and vice versa, and the sounds are relatively clear. Whereas in English, there's a lot of consonants and a few vowels. And since English phonetics can easily be distorted by accents, sounds get jumbled together and you have to be creative with your, mouth movements. Not saying it's bad, it's actually quite a fun challenge. And due to me finding out the transformation tool, it made me wonder if I could do tweening in Krita. And that's the second thing I learned with that video. No, you can't! Krita as an animation software is frame by frame only, meaning everything is handmade. You can't really tease it. For tweening, you need a software capable of rigging, basically making a skeleton. I'm not gonna get into the specifics of it because I have no experience with that at all. But that doesn't matter, I have the transformation tool, I can do anything! And that's where the title card comes into play. The animation I had in mind was relatively simple. Things go from A to B, there's a lot of pieces, but it sounds doable. And when I did the rough of it, everything was working fine. But I have to do the slow in and slow out, so it looks nicer. And that's when everything falls down. Acceleration and deceleration were perfect, but everything else fell apart. And it looked like it was gonna be too much work, so I gave up and went to do something else. I pieced everything together and animated it in Filmora, which worked fine. Exported and mess around with speed, which was far from perfect, but it's better than nothing. Moral of the story, don't use Krita for tweening. The closest you can reach is akin to a 2D stop motion. Now we come to a bit of a reality check. That video was made with a no budget, so the animation took a bit of a hit. Don't worry, it was mostly giving the characters the least amount of movement without making the quality suffer. Do believe me though, originally they would move a lot more. This also meant I kept minor mistakes in. Yes, mistakes. Not part of the art style, mistakes. Farofa having flat colors, Sam being lineless, and the hoodie being way too rendered, that's art style. Anytime the hands look wonky, that's a mistake I didn't care enough to fix. And yeah, I'm going to admit it. If I want to make a gimmick of me imitating styles to the best of my ability, to the point of keeping track of each style and degrees of success, I'm not gonna use "it's my style" as an excuse. Why do you think I am, a Tumblr artist? Even if I'm not putting as much effort here, I'm still trying to make it decent. If you've seen the little animations in Schneider's video or any of my media logs, then you've seen what is me actually putting up an effort. The speed paint specifically, because it's me trying to do it as fast as I possibly can. So yeah, given the art direction of the siblings and the Farofa show, you can imagine I take a lot of inspirations. In the Farofa show, the writing, pacing, and how some jokes work is straight up based on Katakura's, while the setting and overall vibe is inspired by Noodle, and some little things from other places. I glue everything together and do my own thing while trying to be original. I ain't gonna plagiarize them. What do you think I am? Brazilian? And speaking of originality, the assets for the video that are taken from the game, yup, I recreated those. 2 are recreated, 1 is modified, and 1 is original. And that little title card is based on JonTron's title cards. I always wanted to make something like that, and that was the perfect chance. And coming back to the animation parts a bit, the thing that took me the most was actually sketching. I don't remember how long, but in between 2 to 4 keyframes took around a day. I really don't like sketching. And depending on the scene, it would take around a day or 2 to ink and paint. Well, of course, depending on how long the scene is, it may take longer. Hoodie is a good example. I can easily say she was the hardest thing to animate. The scene right before her has around 330 frames and took around a week to clean and paint. Hoodie herself was around 30 frames and she took me around the same time. She was a bit frightening actually, because younger me thought that by the time I would have to finally animate her, I would know 3D. Obviously I don't, which is why the toy segments are only sketched, so I had to go 2D. And it was scary because, come on, you try animating a render. It was a good experience though, and I got to be a bit of a show-off. Of course, this ain't no claws, but it's pretty okay for the first try. And something funny that was happening was that I was exhausted from doing Hoodie, but I was listening to Vivaldi so I could add him to my music library project. And I was blown away by La Folia. Exhaustion with euphoria. I was gonna have the best mental breakdown the week. Oh, and about that music project, it's basically a project where I listen to everything from a certain item, but I only save the good ones. So check it out, there might be something for you. I mean, there's a couple of stuff there. Just a hunch. And the no budget thing isn't entirely true. My old drawing tablet was dangerously close to dying. Not exactly the tablet, it was the pen, but buying a new pen was pretty much just as expensive as getting a new tablet. And I had the same one since 2019, so it was time for an upgrade. And that's where Schneider comes into play. Schneider had the idea of commissioning me to make all these animations and illustrations so I could afford a new tablet. So I did those, got a new tablet, and this thing is humongous! My old 420 is only a quarter of the size, and the working area is the size of my pawn, and that's more than enough. And after messing around a bit to a setting I'm used to, I essentially have a 420 with gigantism. As for Sam's bit, throughout the making of the video, I remade his part around 3 times because I wasn't, and I still am not, satisfied with his accent. If you see the Toy Story video, you will see that my native language is Brazilian Portuguese. Now, I don't have a Brazilian accent because I refuse to sound like that. It's actually a weird mix of British, Australian, and American. That's because I watch way too much Caddy, Randy Feldface, Barnaby Dixon, and Dank Pods.
Let me get something special. Frankie! Frankie!
but I do watch enough Noodle, Nitro Red, Doodly, Tail Foundry, and Magic Mush to balance things out. I'll say this though, I'm one lucky nugget dip away from saying Bonza. I wanted Sam to have like a standard American accent, but it's kinda hard to do it with his voice, and he was supposed to sound way more raspy, but no, that would be too annoying, so no. And as for the language switching, mostly I'll switch languages to what's more appropriate to the message at the time, and it's pretty much my way of keeping everyone on their toes, so do expect me to switch on the fly. Tipo agora, saindo um pouquinho do tópico, o Schneider conseguiu criar uma conta no DeviantArt. Na verdade ele já tinha mas aí ele perdeu a senha logo depois e acabou de recuperar. E tá sendo uma experiência e tanto. Começou com ele reportando um monte de golpista que, sim, tem pra caramba lá, pra mim geralmente chega um por dia, mas o mais engraçado foi quando ele descobriu o suco do DeviantArt. O coitado ficou traumatizado. E eu estaria mentindo se eu dissesse que não tava achando isso hilário. Eu ando por aquele lugar desde 2015, eu tô dessensibilizado faz tempo. E essa é a primeira vez que eu vejo alguém com a cabeça relativamente limpa ver os horrores desse lugar de primeira mão. Eu tenho que admitir, eu não esperava que esse tipo de coisa ia aparecer logo de cara. Eu não lembro da minha página principal ser assim na época, e a minha atual é bem limpa. Now, as I said in the video, because this is all fanfic based, I rather focus on original things. But even if I were to take this forward, which I'd love to someday, I do not plan on doing this forever. It would just be a little thing I did and I'd move to the next thing. But here's a sneak peek of what I have planned just in case. Fogo, veneno, plasma, bucetas explosivas e picas. Muitas picas. São tantas picas que ficas de parecer um queijo suíço. Olha, se isso aqui não é autismo, eu não sei o que é. The animation meme community is a fascinating one. Flip-a-clip, bobbing heads, fangirls, cringe compilations, cyberbullying has never been so much fun. Surpreendente, eu não vou estar falando do canal Nossa Senhora Aparecida, que tinha desenhos como o Inspetor Bugiganga, Sushi Pack e Dalila e Júlio. Só coisa de cristão, tá ligado?
E a gente pode aprender bastante coisa com aquele time de microbiquínis.
Vocês ateus não entenderiam. Part 1. In the beginning. Barney! I need my saccharine Christian songbook. Yeah, I really like this. Although this is better as just a music album. This looks like an amateur porn movie. That's not even mentioning the children's... Oh God, hello! E também tem a melhor frase que eu ouvi o dia todo.
Filho, pensa nos chineses.
Eu não tô pensando.
Então, recapitulando, a Milena como personagem é mais inútil que uma cega, um mudo, uma menina com síndrome de Down, 2 autistas, um ativista, um cadeirante, o Zé Luiz, o pai da Milena, que é veterinário, o Chaveco e o Bugu. I don't really like Pokemon actually. Which is weird, cause this is my favorite game of the GBA. Well, that's not entirely true. I used to really like Pokemon when I was a kid. You know, the target demographic, but I stopped trying to follow any of the animes because you can only find so much on YouTube and...
Digimon Adventure is better.
And I did buy a bunch of TCG cards and some other type of cards when I was in 9th grade, but now I only use them as bookmarks. Oh my, what go behind in my Tolstoy? Why, it's my favorite Pokemon, the Barbarian. Believe me, I have quite a few ideas that are still only in my head, but I want to at least put them on paper someday. Right now, my focus is on a game I'm working on with Schneider and Lejor on a game called The Bats, and you can already see some of the art on the Windcaller social medias. I got no experience doing pixel art, but I think I'm doing a decent job. That's a horrible way to transition to job situations. The three of us are pretty much the same age, so you can expect money isn't anyone's forte. Now, commissions are something pretty easy and relatively cheap. Well, the ones I did for him anyway, but something of the scope of the bats is way more complicated, so none of us are getting monies out of it. So the three of us would need jobs to bank this kind of stuff. Schneider is seemingly doing fine on his end. I don't know how Lejor's doing, but he's selling a book. Go support him. I'm having no luck. I'm not in a street situation, don't worry. And I'm making myself more than useful in my parents' house, because goddammit, I'm unemployed, not useless. Yes, I did cry after the last try, thanks for asking. Actually, it was more like soaking, but come on, a man being on the verge of tears is pretty much the same thing. And no, I didn't apply for an art job, I actually went for another dream job of mine. Localizer. I am a sucker for Portuguese English localizations, and I used to play with the YouTube subtitles when the closed captions were still open for everyone. I will give them that. I don't have any proof that I have experience with that, which is why I also made a channel for fan localization. It's only got one video right now, and a pet project of mine is properly localizing Vida e Morte Severina, rhymes and all. Oh yeah, and there's also Toma essa bomba aí! And I would take commissions besides Schneider, gladly. I tried before, but PayPal hates me and refuses to let any of my cards work. Isso são 30 reais que eu nunca vou ver de novo. Granted, those are from when I was a minor. I haven't tried again after turning 18, so yeah, that's probably on me. I don't really have anything to end this video on a high note, so... Actually, no, there's another little thing. Some of the shots were made with the help of my brother. The other ones were made with this Lego tripod. And that scene where I throw a buzz at him was the last one we did. And I specifically did not tell him about it just to get a genuine reaction out of him. I was supposed to hit him in the head, and I actually did in the first try, but my hand moved and I couldn't catch that, so I had to try again. No, he's not mad at me. He actually wanted to see him being hit later, so... I think we good. Well, now I think that's a good enough note to end the video, so...
Então, eu não tava esperando tomar um infarto dessa coisa aqui, mas tá, ok. O que aconteceu foi mais quando eu vim pra cá, ó. Eu vim pra ponte. Tá, daí eu virei aqui. Aí eu lembrei da ponte e eu fiquei, peraí, dá pra ver ela daqui? Aí eu virei a câmera. Mano, eu tomei um infarto 2, filha da puta!